In the past, he's been a great corner for us. And whatever it is, whether he's not fully healthy, whether he's not in shape, something is really off. And he is. I don't even want to hear what it is from you. You please, no more Q today. Hopefully, he's not
And
dipping back into
I'm gonna
no
do it.
old habits. He's not dipping back into no old habits.
I'm gonna
No,
do it because
no.
you know what? You know what? Sometimes we want to change ourselves for the Lord, and we need to be who we were at first. Before, you know what? I'm just gonna say it, Jalen. You got to get back to being a hoe. You got to go back to being a hoe because you know what? You was an all pro when you was a hoe. All this getting over the sex addict thing last year, I don't like it. You're not a sticky in coverage. You're not the football player. You were go be a hoe. You were at your best as a hoe. I'm sorry. This off season, Jalen, come on, back to hoeing because this ain't working. This ain't working.
Advocating for that at all, sir. Please.
Be a hoe. I am.
No,
I
no,
am. I
don't
want
go
good
back to
football
that.
players.
No. But you can go back to being a
No,
good football player,
he
please.
fixed the sex addiction and he can't cover anybody anymore. No, this not working for me. I'm sorry.
No, we're not listening to Q on that. You can't be the man that you should be and still be a good corner. We believe in you.
You could be the corner you're supposed to be. You can be the cornerback you're supposed to be, and that's all I care about.
All hands on deck. We are in uncharted territory for the first time since 2020. The Bears have a postseason game to get ready for. Prior to that, though, the season did end unceremoniously in Week 18. I know we all got our different feelings about that. So let's set that up real quick and talk about that before we get into a light preview of what we got in store for those Green Bay Packers in Week 19. Bears lost the season finale to Detroit, 19-16. In Johnson's first season as head coach, the Bears finished the season 11-6. The Bears lost the last 2 games of the season, but do you all think that the Bears backed into that number 2 seed?
You could definitely say that. They lost the last 2 games of the season. It is a back into the number 2 seed because you didn't really clinch it. You got help from other teams. You got help from the Packers being the Packers, and the Eagles resting their starters in the last game. So you back into the number 2 seed. It's earned, but at the end of the day, you backed into it because you didn't clinch it with a victory.
We had a chance to go out there and win it, and we didn't. Thankfully, Philly was like, they don't care, I guess. They didn't play most of their starters, so they ended up losing, and we got it anyway. But yeah, I mean, that was our stated goal, right? That's why we played our starters. You know, we wanted revenge for week 2. We wanted to go into the playoffs on a winning note. We wanted to claim the number 2 seed by our own doing, and we didn't accomplish those things, but it fell in our lap. So we're gonna take advantage of it. But yeah, we definitely did.
I did say it was all hands on deck. We brought JJ3.
Yes, unequivocally so. Look, you was fortunate to win some of the games you did this entire season. So on the one hand, we can say you got lucky. There are several games you won throughout the course of this year that you earned, that you played incredible football, that you deserved to win those games at, and you looked like the better team on that particular Sunday. So you get credit for that as well. But these last handful of games, you didn't look like a particularly great football team. Yesterday, you looked bad. The Green Bay game that you won, you got lucky. We all celebrated it, but it is what it is. And we want to be happy about the shootout that we saw against San Francisco, but a loss is still a loss. So you can only get so much credit for that as well. And if it wasn't for Washington taking care of business against Philadelphia, if it wasn't for Derrick Henry running all over the Green Bay Packers because they haven't won a game in a month, you could be looking at the 3 seed right now. So yes, 100% back into the 2 seed.
Once again, Bears lost to Detroit in the season finale, which means they were swept by our Honolulu Blue wearing neighbors, who fell apart in their second half of their season without Ben and a bunch of the coaches that they had when they were winning the division. So I know y'all are mad. Y'all are frustrated, but let's take a breath and acknowledge 2 things from this season. One, it's been a fantastic year. The Bears are back in the playoffs. The Bears are back winning the division. So we can be happy with that. And 2, man, did we get the right coach out of Detroit. The Jets
Won't be that
regressed
much longer.
with Aaron Glenn.
Which is
And they did
hard.
something that doesn't
Hard
make
to
Which
sense
is
do.
to me.
hard to do as the Jets. But every year they seem to
Right.
do it. It's I hate that for my boy Justin, but yeah, they were
I mean, hey.
hitting.
Long live Justin.
No, he
Long live
don't want to
Yeah,
be there.
you're right. Justin ain't going to be there much longer.
He gave up on him.
Free
He
Justin.
said, "Don't ever try to put
Free-
me in that game. I'm not going in. Good luck,
Free Justin Fields.
please."
My boy Justin gave them the best chance to win.
They won 3 games. They won 3, and I think he started 7 games.
And how many did they win with Justin?
I
Probably
think
0.
they won 1 with Justin. I'm not.
No, they probably
Yeah,
won.
and
I don't recall. But look,
if they would have started Justin the whole season, they would have won 4.
Hey, listen, that team. I hate it for him. He
Gave
went
them
to
the
the
best
worst team
chance to
possible
win.
because no part of that team is good. 0. No saving
Nah.
grace.
Tiff, you hit my next point. And we'll talk about this after the Bears season ends on February 9th. We'll get into our review of the entire season and where we went wrong. And I got a lot of egg on my face because I said I wanted Aaron Glenn over Ben Johnson. But we'll get to that later.
Well, I'm glad me
right?
and you pulled you
But-
back in on that one.
Yeah.
I appreciate it because Aaron Glenn, a former Pro Bowl defensive back, a former defensive coordinator, coached the Jets to the first ever NFL season without an interception. How does
That's hard.
extremely hard to do. They played Tua twice a season and couldn't get it 1 interception.
Tua Tag Ovalia.
That's crazy.
I hate that for them.
Yeah, I do too. But again, the the Bears got the best coach out of Detroit, even though Dan Campbell swept Ben this season. But we'll get him back. There's gonna be a lot more time for Ben to go upside his meathead.
They was
in
very
any
cocky
case-
too. I hated that we didn't beat them. They was so cocky. I mean, they beat us twice, so I guess they can be, but they was getting on my nerves. I don't know how the team didn't get mad.
But let's go ahead and talk about the Bears, though. A lot of stuff in this game that we didn't like, but we're going to start with the good vibes. Good before we get to the bad and, unfortunately, the ugly. So despite the loss, there's definitely some silver linings, particularly regarding, in my opinion, the red zone defense. 2 weeks ago against the Packers, the Bears shut them out in the red zone 0 for 5. The next week, San Francisco 49ers went 5 for 5 in the red zone. This week, the defense was struggling yet again in between the 20s, but they stiffened up, no diddy, when it mattered the most. That unit held a top 5 offense in the league to just 19 points and forced multiple field goals rather than allowing touchdowns. They only allowed 1 touchdown the entire game. Jaquan Brisker, your boy, Tiff, he had said that the red zone defense get the team in this game until the offense decided they actually want to play football. So my good from this game is officially the red zone defense. Tiff, what's your good?
Well, you just mentioned him, Jaquan Brisker. He was about the only person that I could call out on the defense that I felt like really had any fire, had any, good standout plays. I guess we can talk about the interception, but he tipped that, I believe. He was one of the only few people that had somewhat decent coverage on St. Brown, who was absolutely slashing us once again. He had a good stop on 3rd down. So I felt like Brisker consistently has at least had some kind of passion and fire, and he had some decent plays throughout the game, especially that tipped interception. That should have been the turning point to the game of when we won the game. So I'm a pick Jaquan Brisker as
My good from the game is the continued development of the rookie class. I know Monangai didn't have his best game. Trapillo wasn't available, but you saw Luther Burden make some plays. You saw Colston Loveland have another big game. And we haven't even seen guys like Zah Frazier. We haven't seen Shamar Stewart, who's out with an injury. So this is a strong class that I think the Bears will be able to continue to lean on for years. So I think this class was integral in the Bears' push to win the division. So my good in a day of not much good was the Bears rookie class continuing to show up, continue to make an impact on the field. Oh, Ja'Day Walker, I got to start including him in this class because even though he wasn't drafted, he was an undrafted free agent. He is a rookie. So you had four guys on offense making an impact from this rookie class. There would have been a fifth guy, Trapillo, because he's a starter now, probably going forward. But you had five guys on offense from this rookie class making an impact. So I don't think you can't really I don't think you can say that for any other team around the league, maybe Cleveland. But yeah, the Bears rookie class.
You pointed out the rookie class, Q, but I'm gonna go a step further. Colston Loveland was the brightest offensive spot in this game. And I'm saying that as Caleb Williams became the all-time single season Bears leader in passing yards. So shout out to him too. But Colston Loveland was definitely the brightest spot in that game. Tiffany, don't do that. Don't do
We
that,
not
Tiff.
we not giving out
Um,
consolation awards on the game we lost in a record
what do you
that's
mean?
While
The,
you
the,
point out
a record that's
while you
very
pointing
low.
out Colston Loveland being the brightest spot, I just want to highlight that he was drafted, and when he was drafted, he had a shoulder injury. He couldn't he had the red jersey on through mini camp, built up, ramped up through training camp. Since some of the off-season programming was slow to get some of the reps at first, didn't really get going until maybe October. You know, Colston Loveland finished with
Mhm,
58 receptions, 713 yards, and 6 touchdowns.
mhm.
Imagine what this kid will be with a full offseason, going into the offseason program healthy, being the established TE1 from the jump. I'm excited about Colston Loveland's future. I'm excited about Luther Burden's future. I think he finished around 300 yards as well. And he's another one who, didn't get much of an offseason in camp because of injuries. 47 catches, 652 yards in 15 games for Luther Burden. Shout out to Caleb Williams because I feel like he is very key in the emergence of Colston Loveland. I got to think back to it had to be week 4, week 5, where he threw a high pass to Cole Kmet and gave him a concussion. And I'm like, that's the way to get talent on the field. And then yesterday, he made sure that Colston Loveland could get extra reps because he threw another pass in a tight window and Cole Kmet got absolutely lit up. So I got to shout out Caleb Williams because he sees the talent, he recognizes it. And where the coaching staff isn't able to make critical decisions, Caleb says, you know what? Let me lay you out real quick, Cole Kmet, get you up off this field so we can get Colson out there, tight end one, and get him schemed up. So that's what I love about my quarterback becoming a leader and growing into his leadership, being able to see things on the field that maybe the staff can't even see. Colson Loveland, TE1, Kokomet, you're a great backup, but if you keep taking reps away from Colston, we're gonna have to lay you out. Go and jump for that high catch in front of that safety. Get a little CTE there.
And this is
Got to do what's
exactly
best for the
why I
team.
need you all to use my screen name.
Pam Bondi, I don't have anything to do with that.
I don't even
Well,
have a
yeah,
retort to
the
that, man, for real.
piggybacking on what JJ3 and Q said about Colston Loveland, the rookie tight end was the brightest spot on offense in this game. Yes, Caleb did become the all-time single season Bears passing yardage leader, jumping over Eric Kramer. Shout out to him for that. But Colston Loveland was this game's offensive star. 10 catches for 91 yards. It's like him and Amara was going bar for bar, right? And I don't know if y'all know this, but Colston Loveland is now the first Bears rookie to lead the team in receiving yards on the season since who?
Mike Dicker.
Close,
Rookie
close,
or rookie tight
but no,
end?
rookie,
First rookie.
first rookie.
Mm,
That one has me stumped. First
Me too.
rookie.
right.
What era are we looking at?
Well, I'll give you a hint. It's the greatest era in Bears football history.
They-
Gregos.
No, that's not the
Really,
greatest era.
really,
So if
Jay,
we're talking about the
really.
greatest era in Bears history, I'm gonna assume 80. So I'm gonna assume you're talking Dennis McKinnon or Willie Gault.
Willie Gault,
Yeah,
1983.
I figured that had to be one of those two. I didn't know Willie ever led the team in receiving yards. I thought that would have been Dennis McKinnon's distinction.
Definitely want to put any
Col-
money on Willie Gault.
Colston Loveland is the first tight end, first rookie tight end to lead the team in receiving yards over the course of a season since Mike Dick. So two little distinctions. But yeah, that touchdown he had on that 9 against Detroit on Sunday was on a trick play, right? It was a thing of beauty, and we've seen a lot. We've seen Colston come into his own ever since. I don't want to say the Bengals game. I think it was maybe a little bit before that, but
Before
the
that,
Bengals game was his coming out party, and now we've talked in our chat about tight end one. I can see it. I can see it.
The interesting thing is there was a point of the season where NFL fans and Bears fans were talking about maybe the Bears missed to pick the wrong tight end. The irony is their final stats, Tyler Warren and Colson Loveland's stats are pretty close. And
Mm-hmm.
Warren had the jump on him. I think Warren finished with about 80 more yards than Colston, and he finished with less touchdowns. So it looks like the Bears might have got it right because Colston looks like the better athlete. When a guy lines up, he looks like a receiver. The fluidity in his routes um, is similar to a big receiver. So I'm just excited the Bears may have got it right, and that we're not out here looking bad because for a while Tyler Warren was shining early in the season, and people were saying maybe the Bears got that one wrong.
Before we go to our bad, I do want to shout out Cole Kmet, even though Q was talk. I don't want the only thing we talk about Cole Kmet in this episode to be what Q said.
Please.
On that critical 2-point conversion, Cole Kmet showed his
Grit,
value to the squad.
moxie,
He did exactly what he's always doing. He's falling
good
on the
soul.
ground, but he got back up. He found the soft spot in the end zone, and he caught the ball while taking a massive hit
And he held on to the
and securing
ball.
that catch.
Shoot.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did. It sort of like reminds you of that Tom Cruise movie with Cuba Gooding Jr.
Show me the
Is
money?
that A Few Good Men?
Anyway,
No.
not that one. No,
oh,
A Few Good
not a
Men.
few good men.
Cuba Gooding's not in that.
Oh,
Show me the money.
Not a
That
few
one.
good men.
Yes, that
Jerry
movie. I don't remember
Maguire.
the name of it.
Jerry
Yeah,
Maguire.
yeah. Jerry. It reminded me of Rod Tidwell and Jerry Maguire. Y'all didn't watch that
Oh, he
movie.
got
So
knocked out
moving
at
on.
the end, and
You
yeah, I know what you're
you
talking
all
about.
you all
I've
disappoint
seen
me
it, but I'm not gonna
every
remember.
week.
The only thing I'm gonna remember is Show Me the Money. I ain't gonna remember nothing. I'm
I
gonna
know what
watch
you're talking
it.
about. I got.
Thank you, Jake. Because my other two regulars, my regular two co-hosts, every week with these two. Every week.
Sorry, I don't memorize movies for a living.
No,
It's
I
a
understood what he
classic
meant.
movies. What?
That man was
All
out.
right. So nobody.
He was sleeping on the field.
Yes, he was. So the Bear. While we talked about earlier, the Bears did back into the number 2 seed. I It's still the number 2 seed, even though we don't like the circumstance of how they got it. We wanted them to wrestle it from the Detroit Lions, maybe stump them out while taking the number 2 seed, but they still got it. And we'll talk about who they play come this Saturday a little bit later in the episode. But let's move on to the bad part of this review. You want to kick us off?
sure. And I get tired of highlighting this bad. And hopefully after off season, we won't have to highlight this bad anymore. But the pass rush, the pass rush. I know we lamented the DBs getting burned in man coverage, but I don't care how good of a corner you are, how sticky you are in coverage. It's only so long you can hang with receivers of the status and skill level of Amon-Ra St. Brown and Jameson Williams. You got to get home. I think was Jared Goff sacked. He was sacked once or twice, but there's just too many times where
Twice.
we've seen this season where quarterbacks have too much time in the pocket. They're not being moved off their spots. They're not being hurried, and the pass rush just isn't getting home. Or sometimes the pass rush gets there and we don't finish the sacks. Montez Sweat, he had a decent year. I think he finished with 10 sacks, but I mean there was about 4 sacks where he missed. He just didn't wrap up, and then we never had a guy that really was a secondary edge rusher until Austin Booker got off of the IR list. And even with that, it wasn't consistency with the pass rush. It's not just about getting home. but being able to get there consistently, being able to get there and be disruptive. Javon Dexter, a guy who we drafted 3 years ago, seemed like he was ready to make a leap this year. He didn't quite make it. There was too many times that we didn't notice him on the field. Grady Jarrett, we spent a lot of money on him, and I believe that his leadership was invaluable this year. But we need, if we're gonna take that leap or even defend the NFC North crown, we're gonna have to establish a pass rush. We're gonna have to get better at that. And I don't know if we can do that internally. We're gonna have to go out and draft free agent through the trade market and establish that, because as you can see, when you can't get these good quarterbacks to elite quarterbacks, and you're gonna run into them in the playoffs, when you can't get them on the ground, they're gonna clown. They're gonna pick your secondary apart. We see Brock Purdy had a career game against us last week, and then against Seattle was not able to replicate it. But the last image I saw of Brock Purdy was being folded in half. Yeah, folded like it. That was the last image, and that's what I need to see. I'm not advocating violence, but that's what I need to see next year. I need to see quarterbacks getting up off the ground slowly. I need to see them wanting to get rid of the ball slowly. I need to see more Jordan Love endings, more Jackson Dart endings. If if you don't want to get rid of that ball, I need you to walk to that blue tent. Come on, take a trip to this blue tent,
No.
because we're not out here
All
to play
right.
with y'all.
Okay. All right. Let's wrap him up.
I mean, you say you're not advocating
He,
for
I was gonna say
violence, but I
he's
mean, it's football.
advocating a
Football's
lot of
violent.
CTE today. I don't know what this concussion
Man,
He
listen,
don't even believe
listen.
obsession
what he's
is.
saying.
I
He's just
make
talking.
exceptions. I make exceptions. If you want to pick apart my secondary, then I need my front four to slide for me. Take them to that blue tent. Go and get up out of here. Go
It's
and
a
get up out of
violent
here.
JJ3.
game.
JJ3. I agree with you, but what's your bad from this game?
My bad is just slow starts in general. We've seen a pattern of slow starts from the Chicago Bears throughout the entirety of this season. And I thought after the San Francisco game that they had found something on offense, number one, that they'd be able to carry it over, number two, and we just didn't see that. We saw them come out flat once again, and it's very disappointing to see. Like, and quite frankly, after Ben Johnson's comments after that San Francisco game, prior to playing Detroit, where he made it pretty clear we're coming out to win this game. We're coming out to put our best foot forward to win this game. And all the players, it seemed like they all wanted to not back into the number 2 seed, right? They wanted to go out and claim it for their own and to really put a stamp and finish strong this season. And it just didn't happen. And so that is 100% my bad. How do you come out as flat as they did? The entire first half, you really had no life, no energy. You were slower than Detroit. You were less physical than Detroit. You were outcoached by Detroit. I didn't see anything from that team that was encouraging as a Bears fan. And to see that week after week throughout the course of this season, that's a tough pill to swallow, even as a number 2 seed going into the postseason. I need better, but this is not a rant.
We've talked about that a lot this season. The slow offensive starts. I know that was a favorite thing of Tiff's, one of her consistent week in and week out gripes. And we had thought we got over that. We had thought we was turning a page on that, but obviously not. And I do have my thoughts on why this game was kind of like a redux of the bad Bears that we had thought we got rid of. But yeah, that flat performance marred by execution errors all through the first 3 quarters. You had drops from Loveland, you had drops from Luther Burden, you had just weird play calls. And I'll come back to that in a minute. But Tiff, what's your bad?
So my bad, and I actually don't lay as much blame as most people do on the defense for this loss. I actually think this loss is on the offense, but we'll talk about that in the ugly. But I am gonna pick a defensive player for my bad, and it's gonna be our boy Jaylon Johnson. And we all love him. He does his little IG where he does his little cooking, and hey, I love that he talks about the Lord and he seems to be deep into his faith, and I love all that about him. And, in the past, he's been a great corner for us. And whatever it is, whether he's not fully healthy, whether he's not, back in shape, something is really off. And he is, I
Don't
don't
say
even
it.
want to hear what it is from you.
Don't do
Please,
it.
please, no more Q today, please. please.
It's not the show for that. Don't do it.
Please, please. Hopefully he not
No,
dipping back into
I'm gonna
no
do it.
old habits. He not dipping back into no old habits.
I'm gonna
No,
do it because
no.
you know what? You know what? Sometimes we want to change ourselves for the Lord, and we need to be who we were at first. Before, you know what? I'm just gonna say it, Jalen. You got to get back to being a hoe. You got to go back to being a hoe because you know what? You was an all pro when you was a hoe. All this getting over the sex addict thing last year, I don't like it. You're not a sticky in coverage. You're not the football player. You will go be a hoe. You were at your best as a hoe. I'm sorry. This off season, Jalen, come on, back to hoeing because this ain't working. This ain't working.
Advocating for that at all, sir. Please.
Be a hoe. I am.
No,
I
no,
am. I
don't
want
go
a good
back to
football
that.
player.
No. But you can go back to
The,
being a
No.
the
good
views
football
expressed
player.
on this
Please.
He
podcast
fixed
do
the
not
sex
entirely
addiction and he
reflect.
can't cover anybody anymore. No, this not working for me. I'm sorry.
No, we're not listening to Q on that. You can't
Yeah,
be the
we just
man that
won't.
you should be and still be a good corner. We believe in you.
You could be the corner you're supposed to be. You could be the cornerback you're supposed to be, and that's all I care about.
Well, we believe in you, but you got to do better than you've been doing this season. I
I,
don't know.
I believe too, but hey, you know what? You got to make a change.
No. But that speaking of change, that brings me to Tyrique. What's going on with him? Because did we see Tyrique at all yesterday?
With these scratch.
Like, is he more hurt than we know? I'm trying to figure out because he hasn't had any huge blunders. So is that
No,
hip more hurt than we know? Like, why is he not spilling
out the
out?
rotation. Out the
Well, put him back.
No,
rotation.
I don't
He's
think.
out the
Put him back
rotation. He was
in,
a healthy
okay?
scratch.
Because CJ Gardner Johnson getting burned, Jaylon getting burned. Okay, I'm a say Brown out there. I said, boy, the Lions, they don't do nothing but think about their celebrations and what they gonna do when they get a first down or what they gonna do when they get a touchdown. But you know
The,
what? We couldn't stop them.
the only thing with the only thing with Tyreek is he is strictly a boundary corner. He doesn't have positional versatility to play the nickel position. So I know CJ was getting hurt, but CJ he has the ability to play nickel, and he's kind of playing out of position. I mean, the caliber of nickel back he is, you don't want to lock him in man coverage with those slot receivers. You want him in there against the run game, supporting the run, blitzing. Kyler Gordon is really the guy you want covering those receivers. So with Tyreek being just strictly a boundary corner without that positional flexibility, it's Nashawn Wright and Jaylon Johnson, when they're healthy, they're not coming out the game.
Well,
So
baby, he don't look healthy.
it,
Okay, to
yeah, I
I
agree.
mean,
If
he
Jalen can't play better than that, maybe they need to go back to splitting the snaps,
like that
or
effort
at least
wasn't
getting
there.
mixing Tyreek in
Yeah,
there.
it wasn't doing it for me. And I like Jaylon, all that good stuff, but we need this defense already bad enough. We already can't get to the QB. The linebackers out there looking lost. Like we need one unit on the defense got to come through. And we love the takeaways; those are great, but we need more consistent play. We can't keep doing this bend and don't break. Although I think they held Detroit to 16, we should have won that game. But we can't keep letting them drive all the way down the field and then finally locking in the red zone. Bro, can we just get some 3 and outs? Can we give the ball back to our offense? So, yeah, I got to make Jaylon my bad.
Yeah, that's an interesting point, Tiff. The bend don't break defensive motto or that mantra. Some people are okay with it, but the way that the Detroit took the air out of that game, even though we was holding 3 points, they're holding the ball for like 8, 9 minutes at a time just to get 3 points. That's not good. You going into the playoffs. That's not good. We got to be able to stop teams before they say, all right, we settling for 3. Because again, with these offensive, I guess, fused offensive output that we be having, we gotta be able to have a better defensive strategy than, all right, we're gonna let them get all the way to the 7 before we start playing some actual defense. But before we go too far on this cornerback thing with Jaylon Johnson, understand that he had major core surgery, and he came back. He should have been done for the year, and he came back after 6 or 7 weeks. Yes, there's still scar tissue he's working through. He's not even doing on-field work in practice yet. He's always off to the side doing his own resistance training. He is not his best version. I would like to believe that it's because of this that you see him being a lot less physical out there. Him being able to cover the way that he used to be able to cover, you're going to have to give some of that back, right? Because he is coming back from a major surgery. but I would like to see him be a little bit more physical, especially in the run game. He ain't the only one. You all talked about Tyrique Stevenson. I don't think he was benched for any other secret situation or whatever. I just think that he was a healthy scratch because he's not healthy, right? I think that a hip injury is career threatening. So I just think that we are grasping at straws from Jaylon, grasping at whatever we can get out of Tyrique right now, whatever we can maybe get out of Kyler going forward. And CJ Gardner, man, we down him possibly too. And let's not forget Nashawn Wright. We got all these issues with our other DBs. Nashawn Wright has been the most healthy, but Nashawn Wright ain't been good the last month. If we really be honest with ourselves, he's been targeted a lot. He's made a lot of bad arm tackles that he wasn't successful at. It's been that whole DB room right now is down bad. So Jaylon, he is the highest paid and the most known of that room, but the entire room could be better, and it would be better if they were healthy, which
Again,
is just
yeah, I'm not
crazy.
jumping on Jaylon. I'm sure he's not fully healthy, but at some point, there's somebody that's not fully healthy is getting picked on. Do they become a liability? And again, maybe we don't have nobody else
Yes.
to throw in there. But I'm not trying to pick on him. I'm just saying if he's not fully healthy and he can't give it all we got, defense,
He shouldn't
yeah,
play.
the other team knows that too. You think they over there thinking, oh, well, Jaylon not fully healthy, so we won't throw the ball his way. No, they like, great, keep putting his ass out there. Like, that's all I'm saying. It wasn't a knock at him. I appreciate his heart and him wanting to play. But if you're not fully healthy and you're not helping the team,
No, he's helping the
You got to
team.
be a wholesome brother on
He's
the
he
sideline, bro.
And Tyrique
he's helping the
Stevenson,
team because he's actually playing.
I mean,
I'm looking at Tyrique Stevenson's snaps from week 17 and 16 and 15. Uh 18 snaps week 17, targeted once, didn't allow any completions. Against Green Bay, he had 27 snaps, allowed one catch for 6 yards. Week 15 had a pass breakup, gave up 2 receptions for 14 yards. Does it seem like Tyrique Stevenson? I mean, his play has been up and down this 3 years, but I would say he's proven himself to be a competent NFL corner. I don't think he hurts you when he's on the field, and he's had some standout games. Does he still get maybe a knock or a bad rep for the fail Mary and some of the other antics on the field? Do you think some of that travels with him
think
and some of the
Travels with
decision
Not
making
him
nah.
on
with
snaps? Like,
opponents or with the Bears? I wouldn't say
no,
so.
I mean with the staff, some of his past, uh, um, you don't think
I
so?
think he's been kind of a
No,
model
I don't think they
citizen
hold
this
that against.
year. Like, he's gotten under a few people's skin, but I mean, he certainly hasn't done anything close to the fail Mary. I think that's over with. That wasn't even saying coaching
Yeah,
staff.
that was
So
yeah, I think
egregious
that was a
last
one
year. He
off.
hasn't done anything this season to really warrant any
No, I know he hasn't, but I'm saying, do
benching
you
for
think
conduct.
some of those transgressions, like some of the things in prior camps or on the field prior, do you think that sometimes does that affect any of the decisions of his snap share for this year, even though it's a new staff?
I would like to believe it's just been health related.
yeah,
And when he came back, there was no spot for him, right? And because Nashawn was playing well, Jaylon was,
Jalen.
not Jaylon that we know him to be, but the only way for and you're right, he can't play nickel. So the only way for him to be was to spell either Nashawn or Jaylon when he could. He had to get in where he fit in. I would like to believe it's all health related.
I
But
think so too.
if it's not, it's just
Because it seemed
another
like
um
he was pretty much in the rotation before he hurt his hip.
Even when he came back,
before he hurt his hip, he was a starter.
he
He
was a
was the
starter.
number
Yeah,
one
even
corner.
even after coming back from the hip injury, he still was getting snaps, and then this past game he didn't log a single snap. So I mean,
Yeah,
maybe
that's
it
why I
could have
think
been
it's health.
it could have been related to um personnel decisions because let's be honest, Tyrique has not had the best relationship with the Lions.
He
I
has
mean,
not.
Amon St. Brown put belt to that ass earlier this season. Last year, Jameson Williams had his way with him. In that game in Soldier Field, he has not been the best. he has
He
not
got
been
a
the best
few
version of
personal
Tyreek
foul
against the
penalties
Lions.
against them too. I think he be going back and forth.
Yeah, well, he baited Williamson into one last year at Thanksgiving, but yeah, the Lions have not been kind to Tyreek Stevenson uh in recent memory in recent games. So I don't know if that may be factored into it, but I mean the Lions weren't nice to anybody who lined up the corner yesterday. Jaylon, CJ, I mean, and then the Lions are starting to become I'm starting to get my hatred back for the Lions because Amon Ron St. Brown and Jameson
Because they
Williams doing
would
all
not stop doing that. I like, we saw it,
They
bro.
wouldn't let
We
yeah,
up at
saw it.
all.
You
they
don't
did
have
it.
to keep
Like
doing it
Amon Ron
every
St. Brown
time.
doing it and then doing this or
Yeah,
doing
they was
that.
throwing it to the
Or
side. Yeah.
come on, man, you extra with it.
That's what I
We get
said.
it.
They thought about that all week.
Go
They was like, we
go
can't wait to
home.
throw
Go
this
to
out there.
Cancun. Yeah, like you doing all that and you going home at a disappointed season.
If it
It-
wasn't health, it just adds to the confusing coaching. I don't want to say decision, but the confusing coaching plan for Sunday, and that's my bad. Ben Johnson had admitted that the game plan, the install for this week was simpler. It was vanilla, and you didn't have to tell us that. We all saw it the
Maybe that was the
first
problem.
three quarters. That was the problem. That exactly was the problem. They went out there and it looked like they were not trying to win that game.
They looked vanilla.
Plain and simple. A lot of people have been said on the sports radio here in Chicago. A lot of people have said that they felt like Johnson approached this game like it was preseason, like it was just a dress rehearsal. And we use that term in the preview queue.
Yeah.
Little did we know that Ben Johnson was listening and was going to put it into motion. But some people think that it was him playing chess. Tiff loves to say 4D chess when people think they're playing 4D chess. She usually says it about Ryan Pace. But maybe Ben Johnson is playing 4D chess here. It's like he doesn't want to give the Packers anything they can use in their game coming up again on Saturday. To which I say, I don't like that thinking ahead. You should pose to keep the main thing the main thing. The main thing is the game is in front of you. Uh, so my bad is that type of vanilla play design, not play design,
Play calling,
game plan.
game planning.
They hold the entire game plan, offense and defense. And we'll talk about the defense in particular, just in a little bit late, just in a second. The run game also. I feel like the Bears abandoned the run again way too early.
Yeah.
The Bears have been a strong running team since the bye week. They were at one point the number 2 rushing team, and depending on what type of metric you look at, they might have been the best rushing team in the league. DeAndre Swift and the rest of the running backs, Calvin Nungai and the rest of them, they had 16 carries Sunday. 16 carries. DeAndre Swift, I know Calvin Nungai, his yard per carry wasn't all that great, but DeAndre Swift he was averaging 4 yards per carry. You're going against an offense like Detroit, top 5 offense in the league, who's burning clock on you, who you're struggling to stop. When you get the ball back, it is your duty to, one, help your defense out by staying out there long enough so they can catch a break, but 2, steal some of that time of possession back. Everybody loves top. Am I right? Q, JJ3, Tiff. Everybody loves
Yep.
top.
Absolutely love top.
But
All right, move forward,
you can
please. Move forward.
Come on, Tiff. You gotta
Disagreeing. That's
stop
all that's
thinking.
good.
You gotta stop thinking
Please censor
the,
this
the
new
wrong
show,
way.
please. Please.
You gotta stop
I
thinking
thought that
like
was an
that.
appropriate acronym. That's all I'm saying.
it's
Yeah,
time
it's
of possession.
it's
Top.
just a little top.
Everybody loves top.
Little top never hurt nobody. Little top never hurt nobody.
But
Dominate the top.
I don't know if I, I don't know if y'all noticed. This has become a trend with the Bears last few weeks. The last 3 games, the Bears have had 26 carries, 22 carries, and now the same 16 that I had stated. I know that there's a thought that Ben Johnson was trying to set up Caleb so he can get in position to get that 4K.
That was
And
my
good job
fault.
for him.
It was because y'all made such a
Good
big
job.
deal of that dumbass stat. And this is what we got.
No, No, he didn't.
Not you all, but you all did. I'm talking about the media, Bears fans. Like, it really makes a difference. Like, when it happens, it happens. It'll happen next
If he
year.
did,
Mm.
if he did, good job for him, because that just shows that, he cares about his players. But I'm gonna say this: the numbers don't really support that. The math is not math, and Caleb was still getting his 35 or so attempts in all of these games. So it's really, to me, just bad offense. We lost these last two games not only on poor offensive execution, but also bad defense. We also lost these games because of the inability, scratch that, desire to not control the clock. All right. Final segment. What's the ugliest from this game?
Yeah, this is the perfect segue because my ugly was our final offensive possession, where we can tie in with everything that you just said, right? So we've been battling back and forth. The offense starts as slow as they possibly can. And yes, the defense was bending and don't breaking. Okay, they had 13 at the half. They held them to only one field goal in the third quarter. And then finally, the offense says, hey, maybe we'll wake up and try to do something. Okay, we get the first touchdown. 2-point conversion. Okay, bet. We get the second touchdown. 2-point conversion. Bet. It feels like, okay, here we go. We're finally waking up. Detroit is charging down the field once again. And what happens? Kwani tips it up, and Byard gets the interception. Oh, this is perfect. I know we're about to do a 2-minute drill because I think there was like 2 minutes and 15 seconds left. Drive down the field and win this game, whether it's a touchdown or field goal. We are set up perfectly. But you know what? When Kevin Byard caught it and running back and he only got to like the 20, I got a little pit in my stomach. And that's trauma for the Bears, right? Like when we would get the interceptions, if they didn't move far enough down the field, I'm like, damn, we're not going to do anything with it. And what did we do? We did absolutely nothing with it. We had 2-minute warning. We had, I don't know, 2 or 3 timeouts. We were set up to absolutely control that last drive, and Detroit wouldn't have got it back or would have got it back with minimal amount of time. And what do we call? 3 pass plays in a row. 3 pass plays in a row, including one where Caleb just had to get the ball out of his hands rather than getting sacked. And what does he get? The intentional grounding call. And we just saw it happen to Jared Goff. It's like, oh, they did it. Nah, let's do it better. Like, what was on our mind? Like, what were we thinking? Not let's run the clock down, not let's drive down the field. Like 3 pass plays in a row. It was just ridiculous. And we turned the ball right back over to them. And that's why we end up losing. It's not on the defense to me. The defense, yeah, they have their flaws, and definitely we can blame San Francisco on them. But they held up pretty well against a decent offense this time, and we were right there.
Good
The
offense.
offense couldn't do anything. They could not deliver. Ben could not deliver, whether it was too vanilla of a game plan, whether it was going away from the run too early, which I agree with both of those things, although I don't think we needed some exotic game plan. But let's go with the basics that's been working for us most of the season. And we just totally dropped the ball and left the defense out to dry. So now they get the final score on them, and now they're the culprits. So that final drive was absolutely atrocious. That final offensive drive on our
JJ3.
I mean, I agree with everything she said. That was not my ugly though. My ugly was man coverage. not to backpedal too far back into, see what I did there with the backpedal, but not to go too far back into previous points, but man coverage was terrible. Everybody we had in our secondary was getting destroyed back there. All you saw was the back of St. Brown's numbers and his jersey. That's it. They was getting ate up. It's terrible. Terrible man coverage. I mean, I felt like I could have put my son back there and he would have got open on our DBs. Like it was horrific to watch. Like it was giving me a headache. I was feeling sick to my stomach, on the verge of vomiting. I know this not a rant, but
Sounds like it.
listen, man. Listen. I need better than that. I need better than that, Q. Come on now. You play defense. What we doing? What are we doing back there? What is CJ Gardner-Johnson doing other than getting burnt to pieces?
It wasn't just
see that.
CJ.
Yeah,
It wasn't just CJ.
unfortunately.
I'm just calling him out for the time being, but it wasn't just him. It was anybody back there in the secondary with a Bears jersey on was getting cooked. Hibachi.
And you know what? In our preview, we've said that, hey, we are getting cooked in the middle of the field. Between them hashes, our nickel, the slot has been burning us the last few weeks. And Detroit, they heard it, and they exploited that every time. All you saw was number one running away from number one all day. A
All
drag
game.
route took him completely out. You saw Nashawn get smoked a few times. You saw CJ Garner get smoked a few times. In fact, that leads me right to this. Check out what Jaquan Brisker had to say about that same thing, JJ.
Jaylon said that they kind of used their strength against you, getting a lot of stuff in the middle of the field, their offense against your defense. Why was that? Why were they able to get away with that so easily, it seemed like?
And we're playing a whole bunch of man today. No help in the middle. A lot of, picks, rubs. Really they schemed us up, and, we just had to do a better job covering. They just get us in the right call. They just out-schemed us, really. Just be honest.
Kwani said he gonna put that fur on. He don't even care. He got to put that fur on to let y'all know.
Hey, they better bring back my boy Kwani next year. Bring
They
back
better
my
bring
boy
back
Kwani.
Kwani. They better bring back
Yeah.
Kwani. He damn near the only one that be out there fired up and at least have some heart.
He kept it too real. He might get cut. He kept it too
Yeah.
real in that exchange right
Well, hold
there.
on. Well, to that point, JJ3, do you all think Brisker threw DA underneath the bus?
No,
Unintentionally.
I think he was honest. Yeah, I mean,
He was
honest.
100% honest, but I don't think in his honesty, I don't think he truly intended to
Nah, that wasn't
say,
his goal line.
yeah, I'm gonna throw my defensive coordinator under the bus and then back up and roll over him again 2 more times. I don't think that's what he truly intended to do when he said that, but in his honesty, that's what he did.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, I think the word is out on the Bears. They can be had in man coverage. And to that
Facts.
point, remember I said earlier, I think I did not like how some of the game plan coming into this game. Offense looked like it looked really passive. Defense, we have been calling defensive coverages that not just everyone knows the Bears struggle with. I don't know how many times I've seen Jaylon chasing the Detroit Lions number one. What's his name? Raymond?
Jameson.
Jameson Williams. And then number 11.
Raymond Khalif got involved. Isaac Tesla got involved. It was.
And then there's always Amon-Ra St. Brown.
We got jumped. I mean, Amon ran up first, but Jameson got his stomps in. Tesla joined. Khalif joined. Jahmyr Gibbs came out the backfield a couple times. So let me get some of that action. It wasn't good.
Yeah. We definitely got out schemed. And to that point, I don't think it was more so their offensive game plan was better than our defensive game plan. I just don't think we came into this game with a real pure cut desire to win from a coaching perspective. I can't believe that we did, because if we did, we are in trouble.
Did we play with fire? Does it seem like maybe that the Bears came in lax from the coaching
100%.
staff to the roster? Because you knew the Eagles weren't going to play their starters, so you knew it was going to be hard for them to come and beat Washington. They pretty much punted. We settled for the 3 seed. Did the Bears lack the intensity and fire? Because essentially the game had no bearing on any of their playoff seeding. You knew the Eagles weren't playing to win.
Yeah, I think I saw Lance Briggs talking about this same subject, and they played the same clip, and he was like, you know what, they scheme it up, but y'all still got to be on the outfield execute, and y'all weren't out there execute, so let's not throw too many darts or whatever. But I think to the point of the feeling, I think it was subconscious. I think after San Francisco, that was such a dogfight. That was such an exhilarating game. And everybody was like, oh, the Bears offense is humming. You know, the Bears are contenders. The Bears can hang with anybody. And subconsciously, you hear that and you've been feeling yourself anyway all season. And it's like, yeah, we are somebody. Yeah, our offense is humming. And maybe you do game plan a little less. And maybe you do try a little less. I think they did want to win the game. How could you not, the way the Lions beat us in game 2? But I just think it was that human nature of feeling like we finally arrived after San Francisco, even though we didn't win. the sentiment around the Bears was very positive after that game, and you come into this thinking the Lions have lost 4 in a row. You know, they're not going to the playoffs. You know, they have all these injuries. I think we thought it would be easier than it was, and we could just get out there and turn it on, and we realized we can't. And we've done that all season where we've waited too long to finally turn it on. Like, we tired of fourth quarter comebacks. Like, that's cool and all, but can we get a lead and keep it the whole game and stomp some people out? Like, we're tired of starting so slowly and then getting cussed out at halftime and finally coming out and doing something in the third or fourth quarter. Sometimes it ends up being too late. In these last couple games, we haven't had enough time and plays left because we just started way too late. So I think a lot of that played into them definitely looking flat and off and just not motivated like they should have been. Because for that, we could have not played our starters. If we weren't going to play hard, we could have let people rest.
Thank God we didn't get any injuries
Mm.
coming out the week. Thank God.
Man, could you imagine?
Speaking of injuries, so it definitely looks and sounds like CJ Gardner Johnson got a concussion in that game. He looked like, we said this
Yep.
name a few times this episode,
Tua Tagovailoa.
looked like on that last play. It didn't look good. And
No
then
question.
there's Cole Kmet, who when the reporters were in the locker room, they were looking for Cole Kmet and they could not find him. That suggests to a lot of the media that he might have been getting concussion treatment as well.
Ugly was, despite us winning the NFC North, a 2-4 record in the division. That's not going to cut it. You're not going to continue to win division titles going sub 500 against the rest of your division. You got swept by the Lions, and you split with the Lions and Vikings. I'm gonna need this team to have a little bit more division dominance next season.
Yeah, I think I saw a stat that like only 2 or 3 other teams had done that where they won the division but didn't win their battle in the division. I know the Chiefs from like 2013 or something were one of them. But it's really rare. So yeah, we they were winnable. That game against Minnesota was damn sure winnable. The first game, although we tied with the Packers, that first game against the Packers, the only one that wasn't winnable is that first game against the Lions. So we gotta have some toughness about us when it comes to our division foes next year, definitely.
I think them unlearning how to lose games and learning how to win games is going to help us out a long way in that endeavor. We threw that game away against Minnesota, the first week 1. The game against the Packers, we literally threw that game away. So I think we're good going into that. We got the Packers at 7 p.m. Saturday night. I just got one question. What concerns you most going into that game on Saturday?
Is our health. Are we as healthy as we can be? We got CJ Gardner Johnson probably has a concussion. Cole Kmet probably has a concussion. We've already talked about it at length. Kyler, what's going on with him? I heard Benj say that they're trying to move him along and get him in practice this week to get him to play. If we're fully healthy, I have zero concerns. I really have zero concerns, period. But if we're fully healthy, definitely. So that's my main concern is, are we going to be fully healthy? And are these boys going to do a checkup from the neck up and say, you know what, we put some trash on the field on Sunday. We've got to redeem ourselves on Saturday. And if they can't get motivated to beat the Packers again, then I don't know what's going to motivate them. So my main concern is our health.
Q, what concerns you most going into this game Saturday?
Being able to stop the Packers offense. That's my concern. The defense being able to stop guys like Jaden Reed, Christian Watson. The Packers got guys that can hurt you down the field too. They got guys similar to what we saw with Detroit. I'm not saying those guys are the same level, but when healthy, Christian Watson is a legit vertical threat. When healthy, Jaden Reed is the same type of guy who operates across the middle of the field, can run those drag routes and get yards after catch like Ron St. Brown. So my thing is we can't allow the Packers to replicate what the Lions did and chew up time possession, get first downs, convert first downs on third down, and play keep away. Because that was one of the things you spoke about, the Bears not running the ball enough, and that's true. But when you're not dominating that time of possession and you're down 2 scores, you kind of have to abandon the running game a little bit, especially when you're not getting in a rhythm offensively. The offense can't get into a rhythm when they're standing on the sideline for 10 minutes, including commercial breaks and timeouts and flags. I mean, I feel like the Bears offense, we barely saw them in the first half. So,
We
uh,
did. I think
um,
we had like one drive in the first quarter. Like we
yeah,
did barely see them.
yeah, and offense can't get into a rhythm when they're on the sideline. That's one of the best ways to stop any good offense. Keep them off the field. So, not giving the offense a pass, but the defense has to be able to get off the field sooner. You can't go, even though that first drive and the second drive, I believe they let the Lions get into the red zone and they held them to field goals. But it's the fact that those drives took up so much time. And offense is about timing. And I felt like the offense never was able to get comfortable. We can't have that replicate Saturday. We can't allow the Packers to go on extended drives.
JJ.
I mean, quite frankly, my biggest concern isn't schematic. It's mindset. It's
Mm.
preparation. Like, are they going to come out flat again? That's my biggest concern. Again, we've already highlighted how many times they've come out flat throughout the course of the season. You come out flat at home against Green Bay in the playoffs, you're going to get smacked. And I don't want to see that. So be ready, be locked in from the opening kick. Have your attention to detail turned in on this game and be ready. Read your cues. You know what I mean? Like, have your game plan be one that you can believe in, that's going to be effective, and be ready to execute it from the opening kickoff to the final buzzer. Like, don't think you can just say, well, we did it before. We'll turn it on in the second half. We'll turn it on in the fourth quarter. We'll get the lucky breaks. We'll get the lucky plays. We'll get the lucky bounces to go our way. No. So my biggest concern is, are they going to be ready to play as soon as the game starts? Like, it's a primetime game. You at home. The fans are going to be ready to explode and be loud and be rowdy and be into it. Are you going to be ready to meet the moment? Are you going to be ready to meet the energy? Is your coach going to be ready to meet the moment and meet the energy? This is his first time here too. Let's not get it mistaken. Like, this is Caleb's first playoff game. This is Ben Johnson's first playoff game in the big chair as the head coach. We all watched the playoffs last year, what Ben Johnson did at the crib as the number 1 seed. That wasn't pretty. We saw what he did at the crib against Green Bay when they came here earlier this year on the goal line in the red zone. The trick play that flew over Kyle Monungai's head. All of these are things that I have questions about going into this game in terms of your mindset, your willingness to execute, your readiness, to execute when everything is on the line. It's do or die. It's win or go home. It's all those cliches that pertain to sports that we all know of. But in this game, you got to be ready. And I don't want no BS excuses about how we came out flat again. Because you think you see me rant. You're going to see me rant if I get what I've seen before.
I feel like before we knew that we'd be seeing the Packers again, round 1 of the playoffs, I feel like a lot of Bears fans, a lot of maybe even the Bears themselves, felt like this season was already a success. You got the 9 wins, at the 10 wins. Oh yeah, everything after this is cake. This is just extra. But now with those 2 losses to end the season, and you got the Packers, Week 19 wild card game at your crib, expectations change. There's no way we can just say, all right, no matter what happens, we're still a successful season. I think if the Bears mess around and lose a 3rd straight game, we go into this offseason with a different point of view on this season. And we can't have that. I'm going to echo what you said, JJ3. Welcome to the show. The Bears need to lock in, and the Bears need to bear down.
Bear down.
Bear down
They're down for real.
and bring them graders, the cheese grater.
Thanks for listening to this latest episode from the Frustrated Chicago Sports Fan Channel. Don't matter if you listen to this on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or watch it on Twitch or YouTube. Make sure you like, subscribe, share with a friend, hit the notification bell so you never miss a drop. And to all the guys from Chicago, we say 3 things. Bear down, go Cubs go, and sell the team, Jerry.